bothers me.
What are they trying to get a piece of?
Why would you pass that kind of law?
I was still stuck on the strip or something.
Yeah, so much for peaceful protests.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they passed a law recently, too, and I've seen some clips, and I think it was Pennsylvania somewhere or Chicago or something, where they've been basically militarized police coming in and shutting down peaceful protests. That's one of the reasons why they Occupy Wall Street's kids quit, and a lot of the
they were getting met with force and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. The militarized police force.
I have a big problem with. I don't know what's real.
Good coffee.
When I would look at the internet or Facebook or whatever you looked at, how do you know it's real?
Well, it's on the internet, don't you know? If it's on the internet, it's true.
Well, what you actually wind up doing is like I do, and you sift through hours upon hours upon hours of bullshit, and then try and match up what might be real and what might not be is just a bunch of horse shit.
But there just might be, and there's a million people looking up that same stuff, making a page and adding a little bit to it. And I'm not just saying the government or the police force.
I see all this.
Oh yeah, normal people, they're the photoshopping and making stuff up. But you know what I mean? That's why you look for certain things which are brought up more than once, like the FEMA camps. And what gets me most about the FEMA camps is Glenn Beck, who used to be a major host on Fox News, got fired from Fox News. Now he's got his own internet movie or news show. But he got fired from Fox News because he was on a morning show, and he said that his people investigated the FEMA camps.
And they asked him by the studio,
right? And they asked if he could debunk them or not, because that's what he was trying to do, is debunk them. And he said, I can't debunk them. They said, well, how bad is it? He said, well, if you trust your government, it's fine. If you have worried about what direction your government's going in, you might want to worry about them a little bit. He says, I'll discuss it later on my show this evening.
Speaking of the government, you hear it? I think they're flying over our heads.
Then that evening, he goes to do the show, and he starts out with something along the lines of, I can't do the show on the FEMA camps tonight because my office doesn't have all the data and information. I don't want to give you a half-assed report, blah, blah, blah. And then he looks right at the camera, and he goes, help me, they're making me say this.
Yeah, I remember we touched
about
that
on the FEMA camps, and they fired him.
That's creepy.
They fired him.
Yeah, and that was my other point. Even where we think it's the news, the real news,
that's what I mean. You gotta sift through
there again
to try and get an idea of what's really going on.
It's like who owns them?
That's a good example.
What happened to free press?
Well, it's supposed to be free press, and we are journalists.
You can't have a democracy without it.
We're free press, but that's why I wouldn't be surprised to really hear those helicopters.
Right, you have to watch out for. You got to listen. There's local news outlets here in Hernando County. There's 3 or 4 local news outlets that call themselves real news. You know what I mean? They say that we are journalists. They're not. There's some guys who decided to make money posting a blog with pictures on the internet who have no journalistic credentials.
I want you to help me set one of those up later.
Yeah, they have no journalistic credentials, nothing, and
they don't sift through the hours of BS.
They take all the information they get from the sheriff's department. With Bay News 9,
they just regurgitate
whatever. Bay News 9, Channel 10, they all get emails from the local sheriff's department, local arrests, and they pick and choose. They don't, if they don't want to post it because they think you might gain because of it.
And then there's all these, they might get sued. I mean, I don't know their actual position on it all.
It's a big game. It's a big
we'll never actually hear the truth.
No.
Not in our lifetime.
No, never. It's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Well, look what happens when you're
you gotta be able
major companies.
You gotta be able to sift through
out the
bullshit.
truth. Yeah. You get your ass shit kicked.
Well, look at Tucker. Look at Tucker Cars. You know what I mean? Look, there's people out there that come up with inventions.
To some of the great shock jocks like Howard Stern and Bubba the Love Sponge.
They chased off the radio waves.
Yeah, they had to go on to.
Look what MSNBC did to him. WNBC. I mean, come on, give me a break. They hired him and then hated him because he was real.
It's all about manipulating and controlling the general population.
Yeah, well, that's like one of the things that to me gives a little bit of credibility to the whole FEMA camp thing is, I mean, if you're going to fire a major journalist that's been with your company for years, a popular journalist, and you're a TV journalist for Fox News, and you're going to fire him over something like that, well, then there's got to be not only something really going on, but something a little fishy.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you told me about that at first, because I really didn't keep up on stuff like that. But when I watch TV, I'm the type of guy. When I watch TV, I watch Discovery Channel and educational stuff. Definitely not True TV, because everything on there is bullshit. There's nothing true on True TV. You told me about that. I checked it out, and man, I couldn't believe that. They fired him because he said what he wanted to say, and
that's so much.
What happened to freedom of press and
why would they go to that? Why would they go through that drastic? I mean, see it as such a serious offense to fire a well-liked journalist on their TV show, on their news channel, and turn around and fire him. That's obviously, I mean, that's not just a mediocre journalist there. That's Glenn Beck, who's really everyone fire him over something like that. And that makes me think it's all the more serious. You know what I mean? This really is no joke, and the government really doesn't want this information out there.
Yep. Oh, I believe it.
You're gonna see the repercussions for things. How often do you hear about someone piping up from the CIA or the FBI?
Oh yeah, no, hell no, man. Find your skeletons.
I've caught a few things like if you get on YouTube, you catch some of on the internet news sites, which you'll get a lot more of the drastic prepper type stuff and stuff like that, stuff they won't allow on the regular air, which you tend to get a little more honesty, like Alex Jones, stuff like that. But you'll hear some of them come out, and so a lot of times it's in code and code names and all that stuff, so their identity isn't revealed. But you'll hear a lot of them come out, and I've even caught a clip where one Army soldier, a female sergeant, had come out about something that she learned about going on drills with her unit or whatever, and you could tell this girl was terrified on there talking about what she was talking about. She was just plain scared.
What about? Was that thunder? Wow, I think we've got a little thunder coming.
Sorry.
About, that was you? Sorry. Stomach growling. What was that about? I'm sorry, I was reading. What were we talking about?
The thing I caught on YouTube, this young, Army captain or whatever, and she had her own platoon there for National Guard or whatever, and I think it was official Army, and she went on some training exercise for a weekend and ran into some soldiers and stuff that aren't from here. I think one was from Germany and one was from Russia, and they were both here and supposedly preparing for martial law to be declared. But then she also posted some stuff about some identification chips that all of them were supposed to start wearing soon, with the paperwork came with it, and she showed pictures of it afterwards. Now, you might think this is some crazy, right-wing stuff, but if you actually watch the girl and look at how she acts when she's posting this and how scared she is to do what she's doing.
Speaking of our soldiers, I found a website. We got a really good cause. It's vetsforcannabis.org. Anybody who can jump on there, and you'll find the website on facebook.com/normal of Florida. Just, another one of the websites we support. Really good cause. But yeah. Where else we at, guys? I know, we had a lot to talk about this morning, but, and I also know and apologize for jumping all over the page, but like we said, it's our first broadcast back, and, we're going to get it right, and we'll get it going, so.
And you guys like a Honda?
I love Hondas, man.
There's an ad I just found. It says a Honda Accord reaches 1 million miles on an original engine.
I believe it.
All original.
Oh, I believe it. As long as you keep up with the oil changes, a lot of those cars.
My mother had a 1987 Honda Civic, the CRXs.
Yeah.
I think the only thing she ever did in it was change the battery and change the muffler and change the brakes. That was it. That's all she ever did to it. And that car, man, I'll tell you what. I used to smoke Mustangs with that car.
Yeah.
Smoke them.
The 1990 Accord.
Reaches 1 million miles.
He drove an average of 62,500 miles a year, while the normal driver only puts 15,000 miles a year on average.
No kidding. That's pretty interesting, man. That's 1 million miles on a Honda. See, that'll tell you about Japanese engineering right there.
You think they gave him a new car or something?
Maybe.
You would think, right? For giving him that plug, right?
Well, then everybody would just spin their tech on.
Oh yeah, I would be putting the drill on. Okay, I'm in 1 million. Call him up. I want a new car. You know what else? Last quite a while is what the hell? The Toyotas.
Yeah, those have always been long lasting.
Yeah, they're one of the ones. Japanese again. See, what's wrong with American cars now, man. Well, now they're coming back. You see some of the new Chargers and
I don't know. Who was
Challengers.
it? Somebody just filed bankruptcy. One of the big
GM's in trouble with
Yeah, I
that.
think it's GM's.
I don't know if it is GM. I don't confirm.
I don't know
can't confirm
anymore.
that.
I think Kia. I think I heard something about Kia maybe buying it out.
Kia's going to buy it. Well, isn't...
Or not Kia, but what's the Italian cars?
Fiat.
The Fiat. Yeah, Fiat might buy them out.
Yeah, you mean the lunchbox?
Yeah, the Fiat company, though, the Italian company might buy out.
Yeah. Anybody want to call in? You're listening to Talk Shit Radio. We're at 352-410-2084. We'd love to hear from you. Yeah, it'd be fun to get some callers in sitting in traffic right now and maybe yell at the guy in front of them or something like that.
Right. Get even.
Yeah, right? Well, we're about 64 minutes into our broadcast, so we still got about an hour to go, guys. Let's go ahead and get a commercial going here real quick, and yeah, we'll be right back. We ain't got time. You only got a few minutes.
What I do, I'm a part of the Silver Tour, which is a wonderful, wonderful program. You can check it out, thesilvertour.org. It was started by Robert Platshorn, a good friend of mine, who unfortunately is still on parole by the U.S. federal government for importing cannabis over 30 years ago. He spent about the same amount of time in prison as Mr. Irving Rosenfeld, who's a federal patient of cannabis, had received 300 joints a month every 28 days from the federal government. So while this man was in prison, another man was receiving cannabis from the very same government that put him in that prison. It's the Silver Tour. It's a wonderful, wonderful program. And what we strive to do is educate seniors on the medical benefits of cannabis. Hello, my name is Michael Minardi. I'm a board member at Normal of Florida. And we support your vote yes on Amendment 2. Why? Because Amendment 2 will help so many thousands of Americans in the state of Florida. There's already a report that over 400,000 people would already qualify with their illnesses for the medical use of cannabis. It is important that people are allowed to use cannabis or have the ability to choose the medical use of cannabis over prescription medications. This isn't about giving it to the kids. This isn't about legalization. What this is about is adults between their doctor deciding whether or not cannabis is a reasonable option for their illness, whether or not it's a safe option for their illness, and whether or not they have the ability to use cannabis for their illness.
Nardi Law, 772-463-6571.
We are back live with Talk Shit Radio, and again, we got Hayden, we got Paulie, we got Joseph. Hey, we got Clemenza's here from
Leave the gun.
Chlamydia's here.
Take the cannoli.
Leave the gun. Take the cannolis.
I just ran across something here.
Go ahead.
It said, and this is like really recent, it's breaking. It says 3 top secret experimental vials stored at sub-zero temperatures were flown into Liberia last week in a last-ditch effort to save the American missionary workers who had contracted Ebola. And I think that's a little ridiculous that they're going to keep something like that secret. Like, how do we know there's not a cure to cancer that they're keeping secret? That's some bullshit right there.
Yeah, that's not good.
They should share that.
I agree.
It's freaking ridiculous.
That should be stuff like that. And you know,
But they might use the Spanish flu to cure it. They shouldn't keep that secret.
Yeah,
But they might use the Spanish flu to cure it, and they should keep that secret.
What bothers me is okay, now Ebola supposedly was dug up a couple, 10, 20 decades ago, 10, 20, maybe even 30 years ago.
I don't think
dug
we
up
should
in
mess
Africa
with fate.
somewhere. And it just popped up, and only a few people have had it. I just want to know, and since it did just pop up, where is the heck is all this new Ebola outbreaks coming from? I mean,
I don't know.
we're talking about some, and it's not
And out of nowhere.
even air transferable. It has to be by fluid sneezing on you or something.
You know what scares me?
I don't know.
Archaeologists. I just feel like they're going to